What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome to the ocean of love. We are drowning. You should be too. Today, we're talking sex. And why society today is so obsessed with it, and why it's not a good thing.
And our ways to channel that sexual energy into something more productive.
Exactly.
And our past experiences with abuse of sex, and just my experiences with just sleeping with random people and the effect it had on my energy and my spirituality and stuff like that.
And when it comes to my experience, for most of my life I had great sexual repression, where I would judge myself for getting sexual urges, and I never felt sexually confident until about this time. And we're gonna help you out in being that way also. Let's start off by talking about where the ego lies, where the sexual energy within yourself lies. The testes, the ovaries, the reproductive glands within your body, part of the endocrine system. The endocrine system is linked to Eastern philosophies considering the chakras. The root chakra corresponds to the adrenal glands. The sacral chakra corresponds to the sex glands, and so forth, all the way up to the very top of your head. And when your sacral chakra is too active, all you can think about is sex. You're completely consumed by it. When it's underactive, you don't feel sexy in any way. You don't see yourself in any positive physical manner, and you judge yourself for getting sexual thoughts. How do we balance this? How do we keep it from bleeding out of us? You see, masturbation
is one way people kind of conceive themselves, and like basically it's easy pleasure. It's something that's just there. Like
people like to defend it, saying it's like shooting yoga through your veins, when in reality the only reason that you feel relaxed after wanking one out and shooting a big fat glob of jizz out is all because that's your life force energy leaving your body. So you have to sit there and replenish it, and that's why you feel so drained, because you literally are drained.
That's why when I talk about channeling that sexual energy into something more productive, for me that would be, say I get horny, I would want to work out. Or if I get horny, I would want to work on maybe sketching or writing, or just channeling it into a way where I don't just deplete my energy in one go, where I can use that energy for something that can better me
infinitely.
As a person.
That energy is infinitely growing as well, because as men, I don't know the whole thing about women when it comes to the sexual energy, but as men, our sexual energy grows the longer that we go without nutting. And that's because the sperm count never stops. There's no limit. There's no capacity to how much sperm your body produces. So the longer you go without excreting that sperm, it starts to travel up with inside your body and providing you with creative, beautiful energy. Because sexual energy is the ultimate permeating force in the universe. Sexual energy is what created you.
And that's why I realized that just sleeping around with people wasn't a good idea anymore, because when you have sex with somebody, you're giving them more than just an emotion and a feeling. It's like y'all are interchanging energies, y'all are interchanging souls, basically. And I feel like the people I did have sex with, they weren't on a positive mind.
It matters.
Yeah, they weren't in a positive mindset like I am. Basically, I let their toxicity seep into my little bubble just because I wanted to fulfill a sexual need. And I feel like people shouldn't do that.
When you have your penis inside a woman and your lips are touching, that is literally a circuit of energy being transferred among these people.
It's a connection.
Sex is not sex. Sacred energy exchange. That's what his sex is. Okay? And whenever I get the sexual urges, I get sexual thoughts, I don't just go and watch some porn and rub one out like I used to. I've been free from masturbation for over a month, and I'm more creative, more inspired, more positive than I've ever been in my entire life. And it's caused me to realize that is the creative energy within you. If you are sexually depleted all the time, you're not a creative individual. Facts. You're watching this and you're sitting here thinking, wow, he just called me out. That's me. Because I am. I was you. I was in that exact same situation. And you must learn. Find your passion. Find the thing that intrigues you the most. Find the thing that you like to create. Whether it be making a fort out of sticks. You know, simple things. Just find something that makes you feel creative, like you're doing something original. Like you're something that is non-physical, an idea, you bring it into the physical. That's all that sex is. When you meet with a woman and you get to know her and you marry her and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to create a life with this person. You visualize that life in your mind, and then you literally create it with nothing but something that your body produces. It's beautiful. It shouldn't just be wasted in the toilet bowl or a napkin.
And we're not judging you if you do have casual sex.
Definitely not.
Different,
Everybody's different. But you must understand the power of your sexual energy, and also the power of wasting it.
And things that, the good, the pros, and the cons. You might have that sense of satisfactory for what some people don't even have that sense of satisfactory. It got to a point with me where after sex I would just think about like, what could I be doing right now instead of like what I just did? I could have used that energy for something so much more fulfilling.
Exactly.
In my opinion. Now, some people they find a safety, basically, like they find a sense of security in sex. They find a sense of love. But
it's not love.
Yeah, it's not love. It's just emotion. It's
physical pleasure.
It's physical pleasure. To me,
because modern science likes to try to explain to us that all emotions are just physical chemicals flowing through our veins. Well, that is true. Emotions are not the chemicals. Emotions are the things that release the chemicals within you. And you have to know that. I'm tuning into my sexual creative energy right now to continue speaking in the flow state without even thinking. It's just coming out of me. I'm tapping into my sacral chakra right now. My awareness is right here and right here. My heart chakra, my sacral chakra, my throat chakra.
A lot of people too, with ejaculation, there's this thing called the NoFap challenge. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
NoFap challenge.
But I've done research on it, and actually I'm going to start participating in it because I feel like it does help people with basically bettering themselves in all kinds of ways, because that sexual energy, it literally can go to anything, to spiritual wise, to physical wise, to everything.
Ever since I started masturbating, up until the very last time that I masturbated about a month ago, every single time I ejaculated, I had this weird feeling of shame, like I shouldn't have done that. And I remember I used to imagine, like, what if at the end of your life when you die, your whole life flashes before your eyes, and I imagined there would be so many times of just masturbating on the toilet. And I would imagine how disappointed I would be that I wasted so much of my life masturbating.
Energy,
so much energy masturbating, and so much of my focus being on people who are getting paid to have sex with each other and let people watch it and pleasure themselves to it. It's kind of disgusting when you think about it.
And then with me just sleeping around, I'm lucky I didn't catch a disease.
Definitely.
In America, the rating is for diseases, like sexual transmitted diseases, just through the roof right now. And people seem to take for granted what they have at their fingertips when they feel that desire and they feel that urge. That explosive energy that you just give somebody freely, you could be given to yourself.
Like, you feel that sexual urge whenever you get like, let's say I was sitting there watching computer videos, and all out of nowhere there's like an image of tits that pop on the screen, and instantly I get this sexual urge to go wank one out. This sexual urge to go and, quite frankly, create something in a way. Create a little painting on the wall of the toilet. But anyway, that sense of, urge to create, that urge to do something with haste, with emergency, you can tune it into anything you desire. Your study, your creative expression, your social interactions.
And that's what we're trying to say. A lot of people, it's hard for them to find peace, and it's hard for them to become one with themselves. And I was at that point too. And when you realize that you can't always give to other people before you give to yourself. Yes, it sounds like a selfish thing, but you can be selfish and selfless at the same time. Everybody always has to work on themselves no matter what anybody says. Just because you work on yourself for a moment of time, that doesn't mean you're selfish. That doesn't mean you don't care about people. It just means you care about yourself.
When your cup is empty, how will you fill other people's cups sufficiently?
Exactly.
You'll be filling it with nothing but air. Fill your own cup, so then it overflows into other people's cups. Don't go out of your way to pour some of your cup in other people's cups. No.
And it's also,
you are the most important person in your life.
It's also a discipline thing. You can learn lessons from channeling that energy and from repressing it to where you don't have to jack off or you don't have to go
but you express it in some way.
Yeah, and you can learn lessons from it with anything. And so say you're in school suppressing that anger, suppressing that sexual desire, you can use that to go study. Or maybe you learn a better way to meditate and a better way to talk to yourself by suppressing that desire.
Not necessarily suppressing, but being aware of it.
Yeah, and not letting it take control of you.
Exactly, not letting it control you, but letting yourself use it as an empowering thing instead of a draining thing, which it often is.
Would you feel more powerful working out when you have a sexual desire, or would you feel more powerful by going to the restroom and jacking off? Would you feel more powerful by using that sexual desire to write a song, or would you feel more powerful by texting some random bitch and fucking her?
Exactly. And after you do that, you're like, okay, I did that. And even if you won't admit it to other people, you know inside yourself, you are judging yourself for what you just did.
Yep.
He did it every time that he fucked a random girl. I judged myself every single time I masturbated, regardless if I used porn or not. It was disappointing that I had to go and do that.
Because it feels like you didn't work for it. And that's what a lot of people talk about, is you lose a lot of motivation for stuff because that right there, that feeling, that sense of joy and that sense of that feeling through your body that you get when you come, boys and girls, when you have an orgasm, it's when you give it to yourself in that short amount of time, it feels like unearned.
Don't get us wrong. Sex is absolutely beautiful when you love somebody. And when you have that intimate understanding between each other, that you both have your glasses full together. It's not about pouring half your glass into theirs and then whenever theirs is full, pour half of theirs. No, you're two individuals coming together, bringing your paths together and making it work out of love. That's what sex is about. Sex is not meant to be some sort of pleasure. Sex is a spiritual thing. Regardless if you're a spiritual person or not, if you have a great emotional connection with that person and you feel like you understand them and they understand you and you both feel that exact same way,
it goes deeper.
You don't feel drained after doing it. You feel enlightened. You feel energized. You feel amazing. But when you have random meaningless sex or masturbation, it goes nowhere. So, with those things being said, I'm very grateful that you guys tuned in, and I'm very, I feel like we did help some of you out with your sexual questioning, you know?
Don't let sex control you. Don't let your desires and your impulses control you. You have to learn how to control them because you are your own person. And if you can't grasp that control, then it'll lead to a bunch of other stuff that you can't grasp and it won't help. Exactly. I'm telling you, if you take what we say and you try it, you will see differences in a lot of stuff, positive stuff. Thank you for watching. We hope you learned something. Share this with your friends if you feel like they need to hear it.
You will never judge yourself for not masturbating.
Even if you don't relate to what we're saying, but you know somebody who might,
show it to them.
Send them the link.
If you know a friend who has a sex problem and you can tell they have a lot of internal issues, maybe they need to hear this.
Yep.
We love you. We love your friend. We love everybody. And we're here to help you realize that the only solution to negative problems is infinite positivity, regardless of the response to that positivity. Namaste.
Love. You don't have to you don't have to have sex with somebody to prove to you that you love them.
Exactly. Sex isn't love. It can be love. It can express love, but it
Sex
isn't love.
is what you make it.
Sex is what you make it. At that being said, we're drowning in love.
You should be too.
Go drown your friends in love. Namaste.